Hello, I'm Jennifer Witt, Director of ProjectManager.com. Well, welcome to our whiteboard session today on what is a project risk. So you can Google this term if you want, or my reference is PMI, the Project Management Institute, in the project management body of knowledge. But a lot of times people get terms mixed up. Risk is one of them. Just to clarify, an issue is not a risk, and sometimes people intermingle the terms. So clearly defining what a risk is, so a risk begins with an uncertain event or a condition that could occur. So we recognize what are these events, and we determine if these occur or not. If this uncertain event occurs, then it could have an effect on the project objectives. It could have a negative effect or a positive effect. So if a risk event does occur, for instance, a negative event could be, for instance, a company could put out a new product, and if the market is very receptive to that product, but the company can't handle the demand, then that could actually be, it sounds good because it's increased sales, the market adapts the product, but the increased sales, if the company's not prepared for the demand, then it could be a negative effect. Maybe they can't fulfill the orders, they can't fulfill the demand, so they actually, in essence, lose those customers who probably may not come back. So a positive event could be that the market does adapt to that, the company can fulfill the orders, and that could be a positive thing. But to look at some of the uncertain events, where do these uncertain events or conditions come from, or where do we look when we're trying to identify these for a project? So a couple areas that we can look at is the project plan. So looking at some of the triple constraint items, for instance, looking at the scope, the cost, the time or the schedule, and the quality. Looking at the baseline, because a lot of times as these things do change, and we know they do, changes in any of these items of the triple constraints can not only impact each other, but they could interject risk for other areas of the project. So we can also look in the project management plan. So the project management plan we know has a series of sub-plans, including, in addition to others, we have the scope management plan, the cost management plan, schedule and quality management plan. And so again, these include the baselines or what we have documented for the project, and we're looking at there. We're also looking at the process for these and how to manage them, because if we don't have processes to manage these effectively, that too can interject risk into the project. We can also look at the Stakeholder Register, because we want to meet with or talk with the stakeholders to see if they can identify any other risk that they may know may be occurring or could occur. And then some other areas to look is our project documents to see if there are anything there, maybe if we have estimates documented or other things documented that we can see might interject risk. Also in the enterprise environmental factors, which means some items for your company. So different business units or different things going on within the company. They could have an organizational change that might interject risk. If they're involved with union labor, any kind of strikes may interject risk. Also, any organizational process assets. If there are not good processes or best practices within organizations, that could interject risk. Any kind of governmental mandates, things that are interjected into the project that maybe you are unaware of that the company has to comply with could interject the risk. And also any kind of natural disasters, things that we can't plan for. Mother Nature, we never know when things may occur. But these are some of the areas that we could look at when we're trying to identify these risks. But I hope that helps to clarify risks, so you'll know now the difference between a risk and an issue. If you need a tool that can help you manage your risk, then sign up for our software now at ProjectManager.com.